What's going on, Soul Tribe? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're getting prepped for the week. We got some pretty exciting stuff going on here. I'm really pumped. We got a pretty light stuff this week, but we have a couple of planets that are getting ready to change over signs. Venus is getting ready to get into her power, entering into Libra. The Empress is on. Mars, on the other hand, is about to not feeling so hot. He's about to enter into his fall into Cancer. So we're going to talk about that and another transit. Venus is going to be the main one that we're going to talk about this week. So a lot of attraction energy that we're going to be focusing on. But before we jump into that, if this is our first time meeting, my name is Justin. Again, welcome to my channel. And this is a channel where I talk about the weekly transits that are going on. I work with the traditional planets, and because I like to think that those are the ones we can see with the naked eye. So this is really stuff that we can help ground us with. I don't disregard the outer planets, but where they move so slow, I'll talk about them when we got some big major stuff, because there are some major things that are going to be happening like next year that I really got my, that everyone's got their eye on. It's going to be an interesting time that we're building up to. So, but I talk about the weekly transits, and then I also do some separate videos on here where I talk about different planetary placements in different houses. So if that's something that you're curious, I have all types of playlists with the tabs there. I'm kind of building them up sort of one at a time. I've gotten into a pretty decent flow. I've gotten about a video at a time. So if that's something that you want to get interested, or that you're interested in, that information is down in the description box. You can definitely find the playlist for that stuff there. But let's go ahead. I think that's all I got to tell you. Let's go ahead and get into this week here, because I'm going to be doing the week of August 29th. Let me back up. August 29th through September 4th, 2024. And yeah, like I was saying, we kind of got a light week here, but starting this off on the 29th, Jupiter Day, Venus is going to be entering into her home sign of Libra at about 6:23 a.m., and that's going to be Pacific time. Now, the really cool thing about this, when we think about Venus is what we love. It's what we want to attract to ourselves. Venus is magnetic. And this, I feel, she brings beauty, she brings harmony, she brings creativity. And in Libra, when you think about that card, Libra is cardinal air energy. So they are the initiators, and their words are very powerful. When we're thinking about that air energy, they are the initiators of the word, in a sense. I remember reading somewhere that Libra, where like Gemini is the inhale, Sagittarius is the exhale, but Libra is the pause in between breaths. So I would say, while Venus is in Libra, and in general, but especially while Venus is in Libra, think about that. Really be mindful of that pause before breaths. What is getting ready to come out of my mouth? Because that's a foundation for whatever is about to attract to that. Think of Venus like as a magnet at this time. This is where I think the law of attraction is very powerful, very potent here, and we could really utilize that to our advantage. I would say, would be a great time to just speak affirmations into your world. I've gotten into this routine where I wake up and the first thing that comes out of my mouth is an affirmation, and the last thing that comes out of my mouth is an affirmation. And so that way my day is, I start blessed and I end blessed. No matter what goes on, it's just all blessed. And that's what I feel this power can bring upon with Venus entering into Libra. I remember reading in this book too. It's the Game of Life and How to Play It. There's this old quote that I liked from there, that was, a person will only dare use their words to bless, to heal, and to prosper, or to prosper. So I would say, whomever you go out in your day, send blessings. That's something that I've started doing. Even in my mind, I'll just salute the divinity in people and animals, in the plant kingdom, like all of that. And that way, that's all you're getting back. And I tell you, just being in that energy, it raises your vibration through the roof. It gets you where you're shining. And I feel it helps you to get closer to stay on to your true path. Because let's shift gears, because a little bit later we got, and then practice that all through this time, because on Mars Day, the 3rd of September. Oh, and actually, I'm gonna pull up a chart for this one. Oops, let me erase my notes there. I was just doing a little thing. Well, but I should have kept that up there. It's fine. But on Mars Day, at about 4:59 p.m., Venus is going to be forming an opposition with the North Node. And so, what I really like about this, here's Venus, and here is the North Node. The North Node is, you can think of this as uncharted territory. This is like an area of focus that's highlighted, somewhere that you're not sure what gifts are coming there, but they're gems, both the North Node and the South Node. There are gifts in both of them. But the North Node, where the North Node is something you haven't or something that you're discovering, the South Node, this one that's by Venus here, is something that you're already familiar with. And so this, what I would say during this period of time, look at some things. Oh, and let me tell you about the opposition real quick. Let me get ahead of myself. The opposition are when the celestial bodies or points are exactly opposite one another. So they're in opposing signs in opposite houses. And you could think of it as, it's like expectation versus reality is what I like to think about what oppositions are. You set this intention, and then here are the results of that. And how do we feel about it? You can relate it to how you think of the full moon cycle. Now we're really seeing things at its fullest light here. And when we're thinking about Venus in being conjunct here with the South Node, the conjunctions are when they are, look at that, all snuggled up together. Think about the things that you've been attracting into your world. What has been some sort of same old narratives that we're ready to North Node and Aries get out of? Aries is that cardinal fire that Mars ruled, and Mars being in Gemini at the last degree of Gemini. Mind you, here's Mars. Mars is ready to see things from a different perspective, or at least that's what he's offering this North Node here before he enters into his fall. This can be the time where you can really do some nice course correction, because I feel once Mars gets into Cancer, then things might get a little frustrating. Potentially, depending on where you're at in your journey, where this is activating for you in your chart. Just to give you a real world example of how this could come up for you. This is happening in my 9th house, which is the house of religion, the house of divination, foreign travels, and my 3rd house, which is the house of short travel, siblings, and also divination in like the sense of like dream work and things of sacred rituals, things along those lines. And actually, interestingly enough, I've kind of reached this point where I've been doing a lot of reading over the last couple of years. I've just consumed so much information. It's aggressive. If it wasn't for my moon in Gemini, and I think Mercury in Leo, I might have just burned out. But it's been fueling me up. But now I'm reaching this point where I feel like I've gotten the practice. Now I'm in this place where I'm wanting to expand a bit more and thinking about the religious aspect of it. I've been getting into delving into of nakshatras lately. I'm in the middle of this course right now, and that's getting into a lot of Hindu mythology and things along those lines, and just getting into I'll be fluent in Sanskrit by the end of the year. But it's been taking me into foreign lands. This North Node has been inviting me to, okay, you have this foundation here, and so now where do you want to take it further? What are some new things? How are you ready to rise in this rank. So that's just one example of how that's one example of simple thing of how this could be coming up for you. It doesn't have to be anything, I like to keep the astrology as practical as possible. So, and this applies for all of you. If, for example, if you happen to have a Leo rising, I work with whole sign. So this would be activating your ninth and third house. So be seeing where maybe you've been doing some sort of same old things, where you're ready to start maybe some new practices, maybe where you're wanting to travel to somewhere different. Maybe you find yourself going to the same old places, do something different. I might actually follow my own advice there. But well, I do got a big plan though. Africa's on the list. I'm still working on that. But that's all I got for that one. And then let's get to the last transit here, which is going to be happening on Mercury Day, and that's going to be September 4th. And at about 12:47 p.m., Mars is going to be entering into Cancer. Now, like I was saying, when Mars enters into Cancer, he experiences his fall. And a planet, when they're in their fall, it just means that they're not able to function as strongly as when, let's say, Mars is in Aries, or especially when Mars is in Scorpio, or even in Capricorn even. I would say, but, excuse me, but Mars being how Venus is the benefic planet, Mars is considered a malefic planet, which means that he helps you do your things through challenges, through effort. Mars represents our energy. It represents our actions. Mars is what keeps you alive in a sense, and not even just like the taking care of yourself and all these things and being aware or whatnot, but more so just like even like your passions. Mars is its Lord is over Scorpio in traditional astrology, and so we need also that creative part of us that keeps us alive. So Mars is a very essential planet, even being considered a malefic. And to see how this may be affecting you, check to see if you have like a day or a night chart. And that's whether the sun is falling above or below the ascendant, and that's how you can tell whether Mars is, because Mars is part of the night sect. So if Mars is working for you, Mars will be more so supporting. He's the malefic that's your buddy. So. But with Mars entering into Cancer, and he specifically, I think it's at 28 degrees where I think is the exact degree where Mars is at fall. But Cancer is one that has a rhythm. It's cardinal water. Its Lord is the moon. And so you have to honor your feelings, honor when there's a cycle that comes here. So syncing up with the moon during this time will be very beneficial for all of us, because our energies are going to be, Mars is just used to just going. Just let's do this, let's do that. I don't have to think about it. He's always ready. But there may be some days where it's like, you know what? Like, I thought I wanted to do this, but now the moon's changed signs and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do this instead. But this can also be this gives Mars a chance to slow down a little bit. This gives Mars a chance to tune into the body, to see where he's maybe been a little bit impulsive, where he's been operating from maybe where there's been some old narratives. I'm even thinking back to that Venus. That Venus can be very supportive to Mars in this, in that she could help him see where there's been these kind of old narratives and how he can, like, okay, let's change the cycle a little bit. Let's get into a different type of flow here. So this is going to be one where you're just going to want to honor your body, honor your feelings. There may be days where you have just full of energy, and then there may be some other days where you may just notice the fluctuations a bit more starkly when Mars is in Cancer. So that's just something to tune out for. Pay attention to any sort of reactive energies in Mars, because sometimes that could be very frustrating if you wanted to get this done, but you're feeling this way, and he gets all types of stuff. So, but even just looking at the moon, I feel could even just maybe help bring some, if you have a great view of her, just kind of sync up, get out there and sync up with the moon while Mars is in Cancer. And he's going to be retrograding back into Cancer. So we're going to be, he'll be in Cancer this period of time, dip into Leo, then come right back. So this is something we're going to need to be flexible and be in this, and again, honor this flow and take care of our energies during this time. Because I feel too, sometimes when you, with Cancer, Cancer has that ability because they are so sensitive. They can pick up the energies of others around them. And that could become a fuel for your actions if you're not aware of, if you're not regularly checking in with yourself. So that's just another thing that I would pay attention to, this Mars in Cancer. But otherwise, you know, be mindful of frustrations, be mindful of your words, seeing what you've attracted. And this can be, again, a really great course correction period right now to really start making some tangible steps. And that Mars in Cancer, even though he may have to slow down a little bit, when you sync up with the moon, when you're working with like setting the intentions, even if you just do them on a monthly basis, when you're setting intentions from the new moon, releasing with the full moon, and, you know, seeing what has manifested with that and where we need to adjust, you could get a lot done while Mars is in Cancer. It's just, again, it's just at a different, you have to honor a different pace. You really have to honor your body. It's not a forcing thing. Mars, he can try to force his way through Cancer, but he may get frustrated at sometimes, and that could potentially, with Venus being in Libra, that could attract the things that you're not wanting. So otherwise, I think we're in good shape here. So until the next video, until I catch you again, stay mindful out there. Keep raising that vibration through the roof, especially during this time. Seize the day and the night. And I will catch you on the next one. When am I going to catch up? Oh, well, I guess next week. I don't know why I was thinking about that. I guess because I'm thinking about Cancer. Little sidebar. That's the one I'm doing next.